As darkness falls, a creaky old Victorian mansion stands in isolation, the moon casting eerie shadows onto its dilapidated facade. Inside, a grand staircase spirals upwards, each step groaning under unseen weight. Ancient portraits on the walls seem to watch as you ascend. A door creaks open to reveal an abandoned library, books covered in dust and cobwebs. The air is heavy with a lingering sense of dread. Suddenly, a gust of wind sweeps through the library, pages fluttering wildly. An old rocking chair begins to sway back and forth on its own. A flickering chandelier casts dancing shadows on the walls. A shadowy figure appears. It looms ominously, then disappears as quickly as it came. In the mansion's graveyard, tombstones stand crooked under the skeletal trees. An owl hoots, its call echoing through the chilling silence. Suddenly the ground grumbles, and a hand shoots up from a grave. The undead rise, their hollow eyes glowing in the moonlight. As dawn breaks, the undead return to their graves, the mansion returning to its eerie silence, waiting for the next nightfall to come alive again. We begin on a moonlit night, as a mysterious figure in an old-fashioned cloak walks down a foggy cobblestone street. The figure stops in front of an eerie, abandoned mansion. Its windows are dark and broken, and the gate creaks as he pushes it open. Inside, the mansion is eerily quiet. Dusty chandeliers sway gently, and portraits on the wall seem to watch as the figure moves through the hall. Suddenly, a spooky apparition appears, floating in the air. The figure doesn't seem surprised. Instead, he reaches into his cloak. The figure pulls out an antique lantern, casting a soft, eerie light. The ghost seems to react, its form flickering. The ghost leads the figure through a secret door in the wall. They descend into a crypt filled with ancient tombs. The crypt is filled with an otherworldly glow. The figure opens a tomb, revealing a hidden treasure. With treasure in hand, the figure leaves the crypt. As the mansion fades into the night, his mysterious adventure concludes. A foggy night in an old, deserted town. The eerie silence is broken by the distant sound of a bell tolling. A single streetlight flickers, casting long shadows on the cobblestone street. A haunted mansion stands on the outskirts of town. Its windows are aglow with an unnatural light, and the silhouette of a figure can be seen in the topmost window. Inside the mansion, a grand staircase spirals upwards. Old portraits of stern-looking people line the walls. The air is heavy with the smell of decaying wood and something more sinister. In the mansion's library, books fly off the shelves on their own. A ghostly figure reads in a corner, oblivious to the chaos around it. Secret doors open into hidden rooms. One such room is filled with strange artifacts and a large, dusty book that seems to be a record of the mansion's haunted history. In the mansion's garden, statues of grotesque gargoyles come alive, their eyes following any movement. The moon casts long and creepy shadows on the overgrown plants. The mansion's cellar is filled with barrels of forgotten wine. Rats scurry around, and the ghost of the mansion's old butler still tends to his duties. As dawn approaches, the hauntings subside. The mansion stands silent as the first rays of sunlight hit its weathered facade, waiting for darkness to fall again. The moon is full, casting an eerie glow over an abandoned mansion. The creaking sound of the old gate echoes in the otherwise silent night. Inside the mansion, the cobweb-filled hallway is dimly lit. Shadows dance on the walls, creating ghostly figures. Suddenly, a candelabra on a dusty table spontaneously ignites, casting an eerie light, illuminating a creepy portrait on the wall. The eyes in the portrait seem to follow as we move down the hallway, towards an ominous staircase leading to the upper floors. Ascending the staircase, a cold draft is felt. A door at the end of the upstairs hallway creaks open on its own. Inside the room, an antique mirror reflects a shadowy figure standing behind. But when turned around, there's nothing. Suddenly, the room plunges into darkness. When the lights flicker back, the room is transformed into a grand ballroom filled with spectral dancers. As the spectral dance comes to an end, the room returns to its abandoned state, leaving a chilling sense of the mansion's haunted past. On a dark, stormy night, a solo traveler approaches a creaking, abandoned mansion, lit only by the uneven flashes of lightning. The traveler steps inside, revealing a grand hall, filled with dust-covered furniture and cobwebs swaying in the cold wind. In the flickering light of his lantern, a ghostly figure appears at the top of the staircase, sending a shiver down the traveler's spine. The ghostly figure guides him through a hidden door, leading to a secret chamber filled with ancient artifacts. Suddenly, the chambers light up, unveiling the ghost's true form. A past resident, cursed to guard the mansion's secrets. The traveler, despite his fear, decides to help the ghost break the curse, setting in motion a series of enigmatic trials. After passing the trials, the curse is broken. The ghost, now free, fades away with a grateful smile, leaving the traveler alone in the mansion. As the dawn breaks, the traveler leaves the mansion, having turned a scary story into a tale of bravery and friendship. A full moon hangs in the sky, illuminating a creepy, abandoned mansion. Tendrils of fog curl around the dilapidated structure, giving it an eerie glow. Inside, cobwebs fill the corners, dust blankets the furniture, and the air is heavy with silence. Suddenly, a door creaks open, revealing a shadowy figure in the doorway. The figure, an apparition, floats across the room, its ethereal form glowing in the moonlight filtering through the broken windows. A chilling wind sweeps through the mansion, making the chandeliers sway and the old portraits on the walls shudder. Suddenly, a haunting melody fills the air, emanating from an antique piano that begins to play by itself, its keys moving under an unseen hand. The apparition begins to dance, its movements slow and graceful, twirling in the moonlight to the eerie tune. As the melody reaches a crescendo, the mansion seems to come alive. Lights flicker on and off, doors slam shut, and the wind howls through the halls. Finally, as dawn breaks, the apparition fades away, leaving the mansion quiet once more, the piano silent, and the night's events a chilling memory. A full moon shines brightly on a centuries-old, dilapidated manor house. An eerie silence blankets the area, only broken by the distant hoot of an owl. As we approach the manor, the creaking door swings open, revealing a dimly lit, cobweb-filled hallway. Shadows flicker and dance on the walls, creating an unsettling atmosphere. In the grand dining room, a chandelier swings ominously. The table is set for a feast that never occurred, covered in a thick layer of dust. We move to a dimly lit room filled with portraits. Their eyes seem to follow us around, their expressions shifting subtly as we pass. Next, we see a spectral figure, a woman in a Victorian dress, wandering aimlessly in the manor's garden. Her transparent form glows in the moonlight. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind blows, and the spectral figure vanishes. The manor house returns to its eerie stillness, bathed in the pale glow of the moon. In the final scene, we depart from the haunted manor, leaving it to its eternal silence. The moonlight bathes the manor in an eerie yet captivating glow. As we move away, the hoot of the owl echoes through the night, a chilling reminder of the manor's haunting tales. The moonlight spills into the haunted mansion, casting long shadows that dance on the cobweb-infested walls. A creaking sound echoes as the heavy wooden door slowly swings open, revealing a grand, eerie hallway filled with dust and decay. In the grand hall, a spectral figure in Victorian attire floats mid-air, its eyes glowing with an unearthly light. A gust of wind sweeps through, extinguishing the flickering candles and plunging the mansion into darkness. Lightning illuminates the mansion, revealing an ancient, cursed artifact on a pedestal, pulsating with a sinister energy. Suddenly, a swarm of bats burst forth from the fireplace, their wings stirring up a whirlwind of ash and soot. The spectral figure reaches towards the artifact, causing it to glow brighter and emit a chilling, discordant sound. As dawn breaks, the spectral figure and the artifact vanish, leaving the mansion in silent anticipation of the night to come. We begin our journey in a dark forest, where the moonlight cuts through the dense canopy, casting long, eerie shadows on the mossy floor. Suddenly, an old, decrepit, haunted house comes into view, its windows glowing with an otherworldly light. An owl hoots in the distance, adding to the chilling atmosphere. Inside the house, we see a dimly lit room filled with antique furniture, dust-covered mirrors, and cobwebs in every corner. The room feels heavy with a sense of dread. Suddenly, a spectral figure appears, draped in ragged clothing, its eyes glowing with a haunting blue light. It hovers ominously over an old rocking chair. The ghostly figure begins to tell a terrifying tale, its voice echoing through the silent room. The candlelight flickers as it shares its story, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Suddenly, the wind howls outside, and the house shakes as if in response to the ghost's tale. The candle flames flicker and go out, plunging the room into darkness. As the ghost finishes its tale, it fades away, leaving only the sound of the wind and the creaking of the old house. The room is once again empty, filled only with the echoes of the past. As dawn breaks, the haunted house stands silent in the clearing, its secrets hidden away until the next nightfall. The forest starts to awaken, and the ordinary world returns.